Yesterday and the day before, we made some major mistakes in our internet marketing for the Leadership Gift Program. And we lost trust with a lot of people who had given us permission to communicate with them. Many of those people have revoked their permission. And the people that haven't revoked will receive a heartfelt apology from me. I've spent a lot of time in shame the last 2 days and a lot of time looking at what went wrong in our systems. This is not an issue of intent. It was an issue of making mistakes in how our autoresponders worked. So I thought it was a great time to review the framework, or you could call it the steps or the formula or the recipe for apologizing. And there's 4 steps. And gosh, I'll be spending a lot of time thinking about these and have spent in my preparation for the message tomorrow. The first step for a proper apology, or for taking responsibility for an apology, is to acknowledge. Now, most people think that means to acknowledge your mistake to other people. No, it actually starts with your acknowledging your mistake to yourself. Once we acknowledge it to ourselves and get over our own guilt and hurt and shame and defensiveness and resistanceness, which until we acknowledge it to ourselves, we probably have resistance and defensiveness. When we acknowledge it to ourselves, it's so much easier to acknowledge it to others. So, I screwed up. I screwed up big. I and my team screwed up. My team's screw up is my screw up. Second step, apologize. And I use a very active form of apologizing. I tend not to say, I'm sorry, that kind of, woe is me, will you pity me and let me off the hook kind of thing. I really like saying, I apologize to you. You did not deserve that from me. You deserved better from me. If you say that with sincerity and complete intention, it will usually land, and it will usually help establish a little rapport that will let you continue. Third step, ask. What do you ask? Ask, what will it take to make amends? How can I make this right to you? How can I make it up to you? Is there a way that I can fix this? Now, why ask? You ask because you're not in charge at this point of the trust or the rapport in the relationship. The other party is in charge. And so for you to assume that you can buy a dozen roses or send a free gift or whatever it is, you're likely incorrect. And so you put it in the hands of the other. You might say, I'm willing to do this, this, and this, and I will do that in my email to folks tomorrow. I will say, here's the steps I've taken, here's what I'm prepared to take, and let me know if there are other things that I can do to make amends. And then I will seriously consider doing everything asked. And if I'm asked to do things that I think are beyond, like if somebody says only a Rolls-Royce Phantom will do, then I get to decide whether I want to have rapport ongoing in that relationship. The fourth step is to recommit. What that simply means is to remind yourself and remind them that the relationship is important to you and that you have learned something and you've grown and you intend to operate from a higher standard going forward. So I recommit that in working with you, I will do everything I can to make sure that I don't violate the permission or the trust or the confidence that you give me. So that's the 4 steps to taking 100% responsibility for an apology. I'm glad I had a chance to share it with you. Thanks.